Geek Easy, fellow geeks. Let's open a beverage of your choice. Because today I will be doing a review of the box set of Underworld. All 5 of the Underworld movies on 4K. So it comes in this little package here. For some reason I can't get it to come back on. And then each movie is individually packed in some nice containers, just in case you don't want to keep it in the box. Now, I've seen all of these in the theater, and I had the first on DVD and the 5th on Blu-ray, but I saw this on sale on Amazon and heard about it. You know, I do have a 4K player, 4K TV. Why not get these? And I wanted to get them again, get the whole thing. And I decided to give them each a review to catch up on it and see what I think about how they look on 4K. Now, of them all, I remember, actually I had the first 2, I think, but on DVD. Of the 5, I remember the first one the best because I've seen it over and over again. So we have this one here, on which we do have, each one of them does have the Blu-ray and 4K disc. This and all of the other ones, subsequent ones, do look absolutely fantastic in the transfer. Like this one, there's one of the little things that I found on this was there's a couple of special effects that when at the beginning she's in that tower and she jumps, and there's a couple other scenes that are special effects. You can sort of tell that they are, you can see the effects, which weren't as pronounced or at all on the, plug this in just in case the sound helps the sound get better. That, you know, it's not as clear on those ones as it is on this one. So you can see some of the effects that were probably outdated because it was, you know, 2003, I think. But other than that, these things look just fantastic. The sound is great for, you know, as you can see, I only have, how is that right there? Anyway, right there, a sound bar. I don't have the whole setup, but the soundbar does, the sound does sound a lot better on this than it does the other ones. So for the look, the sound, the transfer, it is all a marked improvement over the previous videos or versions that you have on either DVD or Blu-ray. And for the movies themselves, I just had to put fangs in because I'm reviewing a vampire movie. But the first one, really great. Just a fun little romp that, you don't want to overthink them too much. Because there's a couple things you're just like, seriously? If you think about it. But just a fantastic, fun movie. And hey, Kate Beckinsale in tight leather. I mean, come on. The second one, almost as good. I think it suffers a bit from sophomore-itis, or whatever you call it, where it's just, it's the rule as opposed to the exception, where the second one isn't as good as the first. There are, exceptions like, Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, Empire Strikes Back. The second one is much better. But this one is not as good, but nearly as good. And then the third, that one doesn't even have Kate Beckinsale in it, and it is a prequel which sets everything that shows what happened before to, set up the first one. So technically, if you wanted to, you could watch 3 first. You could go 3, 1, 2, and then 4, 5. Now, it's still, well written, pretty action-packed. The effects are improved. The acting is still pretty top-notch. Because it's got some pretty, big names in it, all things considered, minus Kate. But then you get 2, 4, and 5. And I remember watching 4 and 5 and thinking they were pretty good. I remember enjoying them. But I think I did 4 a day or 2 ago, and then 5, it was like yesterday and today. Of course, once you got 1, 2, 3 on the first one, that finished. I don't think it was necessarily meant to be a trilogy, but that finished up that story. So they had to go with something new. Had to start a new story. And you had Celine somehow between the very end of 2 and this one, like right after the events of 2, being captured and being held prisoner for 12 years by this group, and during that time the world had become aware of vampires and werewolves. Werewolves had were almost to the point of destruction, and she wakes up into that, and you find out that she'd gotten pregnant in the second one, yada, yada, yada. So, I mean, it was kind of an ambitious new direction, and one thing I sort of noticed about the plot is I remember reading something that the original plot or the original plan for the Blade movies was for the third one, the world to know that vampires existed and that they had taken over, and there was a big fight against them, which obviously didn't happen. This one sort of had that, so I don't know if what I said about the Blade thing was 100% true or true at all. And I don't know if there is a connection between that idea and this one. If they found out about it, said, "Hey, let's use this," or if it was just consequential, or a coincidence. But this one was actually better than Blade 3. It The action was good. The story was probably could have used a little bit of tweaking, but it was fairly well done in the sense that you know there weren't too many things you was like, wait, what? Hold on, this doesn't make any sense. And it flowed pretty well. And I think one of the reasons for that, and I just found this out watching this the other day, J. Michael Straczynski helped write this movie. And if you don't know who he is, he's the creator for Babylon 5. He, has written Spider-Man, Superman, all that. Pretty good writer, as long as he doesn't get, off in the deep end on certain things. So it's pretty well done. Where the series kind of falls off is on the 5th, which is Blood War, I think it's called. It kind of, picks up after a unnamed time after 4, where people are after her, Selene. Both sides are after her, and there is a new person who is leading the werewolves, and they're a threat again, and they're going after the coven on another part of, the unnamed country they were in, because this always takes place they never mention anywhere at any point where in the world this is taking place, and it's not America. Judging from the architecture and signage and all that. But since Victor and everyone, his group was taken out, this is like another area, and they're after her. But it's set up in the 4th one. There was her daughter that she had rescued and was just getting to know, because she hadn't had the kid when she was captured, and now the kid's like 13 years old, 12 years old. And then this one picks up, and the kid is gone, and she's hidden, so, because she could, all powerful. She's a daughter of a, combined of a werewolf vampire, the boyfriend is a werewolf vampire, and then Selene, who's really powerful. So she has to hide, and that's part of the story on this. So they kind of took a little bit of a left turn on the story from the last one, and I think that's where it suffered a bit. It wasn't as good. I think they were just trying to make one, and wanted to cash it in while it was hot, and it suffered. They kind of gave her abilities that they didn't have before. It became over stylized, because in these movies, this movie was always very stylized in the way the action took place, the way things were done. And this one, they just amped it up to the nth degree, to the point of ridiculousness. I mean, even for these such of movies. And then there's certain things that, like, you have she's in an armory with all these weapons hanging up, and she's trapped in the armory trying to fight this guy, and she's grabbing those guns that she used. Got all the guns, a bunch of versions of those guns sitting there. She's grabbing them off the thing and then just starting to shoot. You don't store a bunch of weapons in an armory fully loaded. You have the weapon, and then you might have the weapon, the ammunition, maybe in another part of the armory or something separate. But you don't have it loaded. You just pick it up and ready to go. It's like, okay, come on, really? Let's let's be just a tad bit of realism. And I just don't really think they were trying much in this one. And they did keep the aesthetic look of this series in the continuing thread. That was the one thing about all of this one in particular, all the way through, is a lot of them were dark. I mean, because it takes place, most of them at night because it's vampire stuff. And there's there's kind of a blue tint to the night and the darkness. But this one, it got the parts was just sometimes a little too dark, where you're just like, come on, you need to be able to see a little bit better. But yeah, it was just, and I know that they were planning on making a sixth one because of the way they had it, again, it's set up for a sequel, but I guess it didn't do well enough to warrant following through on the setup for the sequel. So we only have the 5. Now, is it worth picking up the box set for the whole thing with the stories and the way it looks? I say yeah, because I was a fan. I'm not going to be, not going to deny that. I enjoyed the world. I enjoyed the journey, even though the last couple weren't exceptional or as good as the originals. But it was still really fun to watch. And with the way the 4K visuals and sound came up, I'd say yeah, it was worth it. I'm going to give it the whole box set a 3.5 out of 5. Oh, and there is one little thing in this on the 4th one, which was I can't remember the name of it. Where did I put this one? It was Awakenings. There is a 3-part anime story that was, I'd never heard of this thing before, called that is a special feature, an extra on this, done, it's kind of a Korean style of anime, with Celine going after these 3 werewolves who are posing as British lords, and they take place in a different time period. Like, first one's 1890, the second one was like 1960, 1970, and then the other one was 2012, 2011, which is about when these things were, a little ahead of where this was supposed to be coming out, I think. But so there's that. But yeah, I'm, like I said, 3.5, just because the quality of the movies dropped a tad. Okay, no, let me say 4.0, just because I still enjoyed the first 3 really much, a whole lot, and with the exceptional transfer of sound and visuals, that made up for it, for the slight lack of quality on writing it. So 4.0, and if you're a fan and you feel like it, I recommend picking it up and giving it a watch and having it in your collection. Anyway, let me know if you have it, what you thought of it, and if you would recommend other people having it. Put it all in the comments below. Like, subscribe, possibly share, and enjoy your Kate Beckinsale in leather.